We've received quite a bit of interest in my free to be workshop, so to that effect, beneath this video is a link that will give you a description for the workshop, and we've also included a special discount. So if that's something you would be interested in, I would invite you to click that link, and I hope that you would find the course to be quite beneficial. Above all else, I'd like to be known as a person of love. And I hope that that's a notion that you would be able to embrace in its fullness. You know, there are so many measures of a successful life, but a person is truly successful when wherever they are, whoever they happen to be with, they have a consistent commitment to being a loving presence in someone else's life. And when it's given to them, they know how to appreciate it and nurture it in the fullest way. Now, narcissists will say, oh, I want to have love too. But when they talk about love, they're bringing a whole set of characteristics to the equation that are antithetical to the very idea of love. Keeping in mind that narcissists are very self-absorbed. They have an attitude that says you should defer to me. They want to be in control. They have to be in the superior position. They're always right. They're highly defensive. And those are characteristics that just work against the very nature of love. So when narcissists say they want to have love, somehow it's going to be at someone else's expense, and it's going to be a very selfish kind of a characteristic. Narcissists are highly competitive. They want to be in the winning position, and as long as you're in that place of saying, okay, I'm going to make sure that you come out the winner, then they're thinking, okay, I'm satisfied. But it's so much more than that. When we have an attitude of love, there's a giving, there's a serving element that's a part of it, there's a humility that goes along with it. Those characteristics are completely the opposite of what we're talking about when we refer to a narcissistic individual. What I'd like to do here is I want to show you that narcissism is a pattern of life that brings so much confusion and so much dysfunction to the equation that their notion of love is very different from what true and actual love would be. Now, let me run through a few things that will give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. When a narcissist says that they want to have love, for them, love is what you feel after you've been serviced. I wonder how many times you've thought, yeah, as long as I'm giving the narcissist what they want, then they're going to feel okay. In that mindset, they illustrate, in fact, that love is a part of their attitude of entitlement. This is what you need to do for me. When a narcissist talks about love, it's directly tied to the benefits they think they're going to gain from you. Now, of course, there is something that's going to be gained when you're in a loving exchange with other individuals, but they look at it as their right. And to the narcissist, love is transactional. In addition, love to the narcissist is based on a scoring system. Did you make the grade today? Have you done everything that's on my agenda? You see, to a narcissist, love follows along with being judgmental. You make the grade, we have love. You don't make the grade, it's not there. In addition, to the narcissist, their notion of love is informed by your ability to read and respond to their agenda. In other words, conformity. As long as you conform to whatever their requirements and desires are, we can talk about love when in fact that's not love at all. In addition, we're going to say that in a narcissist world, love is pervasively superficial. In other words, easy come, easy go. If you hear somebody talk about like, oh, I've dated a whole lot of different people, or they've been unlucky at love because they just keep putting themselves out there and people just don't seem to understand, who they are. Typically, you can see that there is a superficiality that these individuals bring. A narcissist's love tends to be very fickle. Now, in addition, the narcissist's notion of love is directly tied to their moodiness. If they're in a good mood, and if you're helping enhance that good mood, okay, we have love. But if they're in a bad mood, it's like, get out of here, I don't love you, I wish I hadn't seen you at all. A narcissist love is not enduring, it's temporal. Again, when we talk about a narcissist and their understanding of love, basically, to them, it means that they get to be the one who gets to set the standards of right and wrong, and they get to establish what the principles and values are in the relationship. And as long as you go along with that, then they're okay. In other words, a narcissist's love is attached to their controlling nature. Adding to that, we can see that when a narcissist says, well, I want to have love, they can't tolerate disappointment. They can't tolerate being misunderstood. You see, in the narcissist world, love is also attached to a lack of flexibility. They're very inflexible in terms of how they engage with you, when in fact that's one of the very opposites of what love can be. To the narcissist, love tends to fade once familiarity settles in. When you have a loving relationship, whether it's in a friendship or even if it's a regard that you have for someone at work or inside your extended family or in a marriage or with children, it's going to come and go. And so you have to make room for a lot of that in-between kind of thing. But when familiarity wears off for the for the narcissist, it illustrates that they have binary thinking. Black, white, there's no room for nuance, there's no room for gray in between. In addition, we can say that for the narcissist, love exists only in the absence of conflict. They're highly idealistic. It's like, well, look, there's a certain way that everybody's supposed to be, and then when you don't live up to that idealism, then you're gone. And so the love being idealistic is part of their alternate reality. I just want everything to be storybook, ideal, and wonderful. And then we're also going to say that when a narcissist approaches the topic of love, it's very fear-driven. In their mind, other people have rejected me and they have a history of not being connected as fully as they want, and you better not be the next person that's going to do it for me. And so their love is tainted by paranoia. You can see that when we talk about narcissism and the whole pattern of life that goes along with it, and then we attach the narcissistic mindset to that topic of love, then there really is a great deal of confusion they bring to it, because first of all, they won't admit much of what I said just now. But second, it's like, well, what's wrong with what I'm saying? They just simply don't know how to engage in it in a clean way. Now, there's one single ingredient that taints a narcissist's ability to love, and it feeds into everything that I just mentioned, and that is narcissists have an inability to trust. A long time ago, they decided that there's a cold world out there. You can't really count on other individuals to give you what they want. And so they have a certain amount of pessimism already built into their way of life. And it's more than pessimism. It's like a cynicism. And then in addition, there's an emptiness that they carry. Internally, they don't have enough of their own self-love that's there because they've never learned how to trust very well. And so that lack of trust sabotages love's sustainability. A narcissist's approach toward love can be summarized in 2 words: feed me. That's how they think. Now, I want you to contrast that with a healthy view of love. When we talk about a healthy sense of love, healthy love seeks mutuality. There's a shared respect that we have with one another. In healthy love, we naturally pursue understanding of one another. You want to have a full appreciation for who that other individual is. Lumps, bumps, bruises, and all. There's an empathy. There's a willingness to say, I want to know you from your perspective. Who are you? And how might I be able to engage with you based on what I can glean from that? In a healthy form of love, it draws from a sense of patience, especially in the midst of frustrating circumstances. I mentioned that the narcissist doesn't like conflict. They don't like anything off their agenda. Love says, no, I'm going to be patient in the way that we work it through. We'll get there. In addition, speaking of that, healthy love approaches conflict and strain and difficulty with an attitude of decency. It's like I don't have to have everything perfect before I can be nice. I can still be decent and civil even as we disagree. Healthy love recognizes that intimacy is based on embracing one another, especially in our moments of weakness. In other words, we're not just fair-weathered friends. You have weaknesses, so do I, and we can still learn from one another and reinforce each other even in those moments. Healthy love embraces and encourages free choice. It's not as though we're going to come at it with such a hard agenda that you've got to do exactly everything I tell you to do. A healthy, loving person says, I want you to choose who you're going to be, and I want to respect your free choices. In addition, we can say that love rises above disappointments with resilience, but it also, healthy love also respects boundaries. A loving person can establish boundaries, knowing that that's good for themselves and it's good for the relationship. You have a right to be distinct. I have that right. You have that right, and it's built into the equation. So you compare and contrast the narcissist approach toward love with what healthy love looks like, and you can see that it's a virtual guarantee that the narcissist love is going to collapse because they carry so much confusion and chaos and just complete self-absorption on the inside that it cannot be sustained. When the narcissist approaches a relationship wanting to find love, basically what they're saying is, I'm very emotionally needy right now, and I have targeted you as being my supply source. When a healthy person approaches love, they can approach it by saying, I'm committed to DRC, dignity, respect, and civility. That's what we stand for here on Team Healthy. I want to extend DRC to myself, and then I want to offer it to other individuals. That's what love is to me. I hope this is something that gives you some good food for thought. It gives you an idea of what you're up against, and I'm hoping it prompts you to search yourself to make sure that you're heading in a very clean alternative direction from where the narcissist is coming from. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so. We're going to keep more videos coming towards you, and I hope that it, on a cumulative way, can give you some good education. Likewise, there are times when you're dealing with things like this, and I could use some help. I've been sponsored for years now by the people at BetterHelp.com. It's an online therapy resource. It's very affordable, and we've learned since the pandemic that it's effective, an effective way to approach counseling. It's accessible, so please, if you have the need for therapy, seek out the therapy you need. If you want to go through the link we have below, they can give you a 10% discount on the first month. Likewise, I have my therapeutic courses, and I put a lot of work into these, and it's meant to challenge you in various ways. Each course has at least 25 videos with written documents and lots of guided questions. It's going to take a lot of work from you. It's like an online class. We have Ready, Set, Connect about connecting right with individuals. We also have Free to Be, finding yourself despite those controllers. This is me, establishing your boundaries. We also have my webinars, which is a different kind of resource, and they're very popular, and you can find those on our website, as well as our articles, my podcasts. We have my books, plenty of resources. I want to go back and reiterate what I said at the top. I want to be known as a person of love, and I want it to be a well thought out philosophy of life that's not just self-absorbed, but it's me saying I want to be connected at the highest and most meaningful level with other individuals. When you're able to pursue love with that kind of mindset, I hope that it gives you a sense of steadiness in your life so that ultimately you can live in your place of peace.